I spent 3 years renovating her late father's farmhouse, sleepless nights, broken bones, every dime I had. The day I unveiled it, she brought her real partner and said, "He'll be living here now, you can crash in the shed until you find a job." I didn't flinch. Just walked out barefoot into the snow. Last week, she was found curled up at the gate, screaming, "Please come back, I was wrong." I didn't scream. Didn't punch a wall. Didn't even blink. I just stepped outside barefoot into the snow, closed the door behind me, and kept walking. Left the keys. Left the tools. Left everything but the shirt on my back. She was still laughing when I walked off that porch. It took me 18 minutes to make it to the main road. My feet went numb around minute 7. And you know what? That was the best they'd felt in 3 years. Let me back up. 3 years ago, her dad passed away suddenly. Heart just gave out. Left behind a weather-worn farmhouse on 18 acres of land in rural upstate New York. She was devastated. I was too. I liked the guy. Quiet, kind, the type who handed me a wrench before asking my name. His name was Bill. Bill built that house himself, board by board. Wasn't fancy, but it was honest. Problem was, by the time he passed, it was falling apart. Rot in the foundation. Leaky roof. The kind of place that needed either a bulldozer or a miracle. My girlfriend, Mara, chose the miracle. And I was the dumbass who volunteered. See, I'd just gotten laid off from my HVAC job. And Mara? She was juggling 2 part-time gigs and nursing school. We had no money. But we had the house. And I had tools. Kinda felt like fate. We moved in with sleeping bags and a busted kerosene heater. I drew up renovation plans on notebook paper. Plastered the walls with duct-taped sketches and scribbled goals. We made a vision board, for God's sake. By 30, we'll be living in our dream home, she'd say. I believed her. I spent every waking moment rebuilding that place. Taught myself framing, plumbing, insulation, drywall. Learned how to level a sagging floor with a car jack and stubbornness. Sold my truck to buy insulation. Took side jobs to pay for new windows. Hauled materials from Craigslist listings 5 towns over. We didn't take vacations. Didn't eat out. Every dime went into that house. She used to joke that I talked more to the walls than to her. Thing is, I loved it. Not just the work, the dream. Waking up covered in sawdust and sweat, hands raw, heart full. I thought we were building a life. Something that would last. But things shifted. Slow at first. Mara started coming home later. Blamed nursing clinicals. Said she was exhausted. Stopped helping with projects, said it stressed her out. Then came the weird text tone, the sudden bathroom phone calls, the weekend study sessions that left her hungover. I asked questions. She gaslit me into guilt. Said I didn't trust her. Said I was paranoid. I backed off. Focused on the house. Poured everything into it. The last 6 months were brutal. I fell off the roof once, cracked a rib. Spent 2 weeks hobbling while she barely glanced up from her phone. My hands were wrecked. My savings gone. But I finished it. A week before her 30th birthday, I unveiled it. New floors. New kitchen. Her dream clawfoot tub. I even framed a photo of her and Bill, hung it above the mantel like an altar. Made her favorite meal, chicken piccata, and bought the cheap wine she liked. Lit candles. She walked in, looked around, and said, "Oh, you actually did it. No joy. No thanks. Just that." Then she said she had a surprise for me. That's when the door opened. In walked a guy I'd never seen before. Button-up shirt, shiny boots, gelled hair. She kissed him. Right there. Said, "This is Devin. My real partner. He's moving in." I thought it was a joke. But she was dead serious. "We've been seeing each other for a few months," she said. "I didn't know how to tell you. But now that the house is done, it's time to move forward." I didn't move. Couldn't. She waved toward the backyard like she was offering a solution. "You can stay in the shed while you figure things out." I mean, technically it's my house now, Dad left it to me. But I'm not heartless. I walked past her. Out the door. Barefoot. It was 17 degrees. Didn't care. Didn't say a word. I walked until my feet bled. Slept under a bridge that night. Called my cousin the next morning from a gas station payphone. He picked me up. Let me crash on his couch. Got me a job helping with his landscaping crew. It's been a year. I'm living in a trailer now. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. Fixed it up myself. Got a steady income, warm bed, and a dog named Rusty who thinks I hung the moon. Haven't heard from Mara since. Until last week. I came home from work, Rusty barking like mad at the front gate. Thought it was a raccoon or something. It was her. Mara. Sitting on the ground, snow soaking her jeans, sobbing so hard she couldn't speak. "Please," she kept saying. "Please come back. I was wrong. Turns out Devin bailed after 2 months. Trashed the place. Took her credit cards, maxed them out. My house, fell apart. Pipes burst. Roof caved in. She lost her job, dropped out of school. Now she wants to rebuild together. I didn't say a word. Just closed the gate. Went inside. Rusty curled up beside me. And for the first time in years, I slept like a damn baby. Edit 1. Yes, I have photos of the house pre- and post-reno. No, I won't be sharing them here. Just not ready to relive all that right now. Edit 2. For those asking about legal ownership, it was in her name. Her dad left it to her directly. I had no legal claim, just 3 years of blood, sweat, and misplaced loyalty. Edit 3. Yeah. She really said you can crash in the shed. Like I was some drifter she was doing a favor for. That sentence is tattooed in my brain. Update 1. I knew something was off the second Rusty started growling. He's not the growling type. He's more likely to lick a burglar than scare one off. But that night, he planted himself by the screen door, hackles up, low growl rumbling in his chest like thunder coming from a small, anxious drum. Then came the headlights. Someone was pulling down the gravel road toward my trailer. Fast. Erratic. I stepped out onto the porch, wrench in hand, heart already bracing. It was Mara, wearing a damn bridesmaid dress. Hair half-pinned, mascara dripping like she'd taken a fire hose to the face. She stumbled out of the car barefoot, holding her heels in one hand and a pink envelope in the other. You need to listen to me, she yelled, voice cracking. I didn't move. Didn't say a word. She started across the yard, sinking into the mud with every step. He took everything, she sobbed. Devin drained my accounts. Cleared my savings. Sold the car. I came home from the wedding and everything was gone. I blinked. The wedding. She nodded like I was supposed to understand. Like this was all part of some shared language we still spoke. Chloe's wedding. I was in the bridal party. He dropped me off and said he'd be back. Never showed. When I got a ride home, everything was gone. Everything. I looked past her at the car. It was her mom's, I realized. The old Civic with the cracked bumper. She must have gone begging after Devin vanished. Then she crumpled right there on the gravel in front of my trailer. Like her bones gave out. Like the weight of it all finally dragged her to the ground. I don't have anyone else, she whispered. Still, I didn't move. Because all I could hear, echoing like static in my brain, was her voice from a year ago. You can crash in the shed until you figure things out. That sentence has lived in my bones. In my spine. In the way I flinch when someone offers me help even now. She stayed in the mud, sobbing, trembling. For maybe 10 minutes. Then, she switched. I saw it. The flicker behind her eyes. The shift from desperation to calculation. You're not going to just leave me like this, she said, suddenly sharper. You loved me. I know you did. I did. God help me, I did. But love and loyalty? They're not infinite. They're not bottomless wells you can poison and still expect to drink from later. I walked down the steps slowly. Rusty padded next to me, watching her like she might explode or vanish. I knelt beside her, not close enough to touch, but close enough for her to hear me clearly. Let me be clear, I said, voice even. This isn't your rock bottom. Not yet. This is just the end of the rope you tied yourself to. She blinked. I stood up. Go home, Mara. Wherever that is now. I turned. Walked inside. Closed the door. She stayed out there for another 20 minutes. Crying. Then yelling. Then begging again. Then finally just silence. Eventually the headlights disappeared back up the road. Rusty curled up next to my boots. I poured myself a whiskey. Just one. Didn't even need it. Not really. I just wanted to taste the stillness. The quiet that comes when a storm finally realizes it has no power here. I don't know where she went after that. I don't think I need to. Because something's shifted. This isn't just about a farmhouse anymore. This is about every nail I drove in while she lied. Every night I worked late while she was out playing pretend with some shiny new, real man. She thought I was building a house. I was building proof. That I can survive anything, including her. And now? I'm building something else. Something better. Something she'll never get the keys to. Edit 1. Yes, I called her mom afterward. Told her Mara was safe and left out the rest. I'm not heartless. But I'm not a doormat either. Edit 2. For those asking, no, I didn't record the interaction. My life isn't a courtroom. And I don't need evidence to know where I stand. Edit 3. Rusty got a full bath and 3 slices of bacon the next morning. Best guard dog a guy could ask for. Update 2. I wasn't expecting company. It was one of those perfect spring Saturdays, cloudless, quiet, with Rusty chasing butterflies and the smell of freshly cut grass in the air. I was replacing the axle on my old trailer when a pickup rolled down my driveway. Not her car. Not her mom's Civic. It was a faded Navy Ford the first hadn't seen in years. License plate still hanging by one screw. The kind of truck that says, I used to matter to someone, but now I just survive. Out stepped Caleb, Mara's older brother. Last time I saw him, he was dragging a keg across a muddy yard and telling me I was too soft for his sister. That was during our first Christmas together, before she got bored of real love. Today, he looked different. Not just older, beaten down. Thinner. Bruised around the eye and walking like his ribs didn't line up right. Rusty barked once, but quieted. Dogs can smell a broken man. Caleb raised both hands like I might come at him with a wrench. Just here to talk, he said. Not about her. Not really. I didn't say anything. Just wiped my hands on a rag and leaned against the trailer frame. He reached into the truck, pulled out a manila envelope and held it like it was radioactive. You need to see this. Inside? Copies of the deed transfer paperwork for the farmhouse. But not just that, notes. Emails. Messages. Evidence. Turns out Mara forged her dad's signature to make the house transfer look official. Bill had left her the house verbally. No will. No lawyer. Just her word and a few vague comments he made at Sunday dinners. The real paperwork? Had never been filed. Technically, legally, that house belonged to Caleb. Mara just filed a quitclaim deed 3 weeks after the funeral and started signing everything in her name. She even backdated it, used a friend at the county clerk's office to fudge the timestamp. I didn't care at first, Caleb said. Figured, fine. Let her have it. I didn't want the house anyway. But then I found out about you. About what she did. He pulled out a stack of photos next. Before and afters. Me covered in dirt, scraping lead paint off siding. Me on the roof, replacing shingles. The custom kitchen. The clawfoot tub. All of it. He looked at me dead on and said, She told us you hit her. I flinched. She told the whole family you got violent when she tried to break up. Said she let you stay in the shed out of pity. Said you were unstable. Maybe dangerous. That she had to lock her door at night. I laughed. Not a fun kind of laugh. The kind that rips a hole in your gut. He looked down at the ground like he couldn't face it. I believed her. We all did. That's why I never reached out. But last week, she showed up at my place with a black eye. Said Devin did it. Said he took her money, her car, her laptop. Even her damn AirPods. She wanted to move in with me. He shook his head. I told her no. First time in my life, I told her no. That's when she cracked. Started spilling things. Ranting. Crying. Talking about how it all went wrong. How she should have kept the trailer boy because at least he knew how to build sh*t. That's when Caleb knew. She used you, he said. Used Dad's death. Used the house. Lied to all of us. Then he handed me a document, signed, notarized, stamped. A formal transfer of the farmhouse. To me. Free and clear. I don't want it, he said. But you earned it. You built it. You suffered for it. It should have been yours from the beginning. I stared at the paper like it was written in another language. I didn't cry. But I felt something crack. Not the sad kind. The kind that sounds like a door unlocking. We sat on the porch for an hour. Talked. Mostly about Bill. About how he always kept his tools in perfect rows. About how he once fixed Caleb's bike with 2 screws and a piece of gum. About how disappointed he'd be in what Mara had become. Caleb didn't stay long. Before he left, he said, I don't know if you'll ever forgive her. But I hope you do something good with that place. Make it honest again. He drove off in a cloud of dust. I stood there with the deed in one hand and a wrench in the other. And I knew what I had to do. Tomorrow morning, I'm driving out there. Back to the farmhouse. Back to the bones of a place I built from nothing, only to have it stolen. This time, I'm not going to fix the roof. I'm going to decide what stays. And what gets torn to the damn ground. Edit 1. Yes, I've already verified the paperwork with a lawyer. It's legit. The house is mine. Took me a day to believe it. Edit 2. No, Mara doesn't know yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to tell her or let her find out the hard way when she comes home and the locks have changed. Edit 3. To everyone asking what I'll do with the farmhouse, renovate it again? Sell it? Burn it? All I'll say is, I'm not the same man who built that place out of love. And this time, I'm building something for me. Update 3. I didn't sleep the night before. Not from nerves, just a kind of electric focus I hadn't felt in years. The kind that comes when everything in your life finally lines up and all you have to do is walk the last 100 feet. I got to the farmhouse around noon. Place looked worse than I expected. Roof sagging, porch half-rotted, the siding warped from some shoddy power washing job. The house I'd built with my bare hands now looked like a foreclosure special on the edge of nowhere. But it was mine. Caleb's papers were airtight. Zoe, my friend's sister who's a real estate attorney, went over everything twice. No loopholes. No catches. Mara never filed the proper probate forms. Never finalized the estate. She just took over. And now? That fantasy collapsed. First thing I did was change the locks. Then I walked from room to room, slow and quiet, just letting it all soak in. The clawfoot tub I installed by flashlight. The mantel I carved from salvaged wood. The kitchen island I built from a 1950s barn door she wanted to repurpose. All still here? Dusty. Neglected. But intact. I hauled in a cot and a bottle of whiskey. Set up camp in the living room with Rusty curled at my feet. And I waited. Didn't post anything. Didn't call anyone. Just flipped on the porch light and let the silence stretch. She came back at 2:14 a.m. I knew the sound of that engine. Same Civic she'd borrowed from her mom. Still coughing like it needed a new gasket. The tires crunched up the gravel drive. Headlights bounced off the fence post I'd fixed 3 winters ago with a broken thumb and a Red Bull hangover. Then came the yelling. Who the F*** is parked in my driveway? She slammed the door so hard it bounced back open. Stormed up to the porch in a fury, barefoot again, like some twisted callback to when I left her in the snow. Except this time, I wasn't the one shivering. She banged on the door. Then saw me through the window. I opened it slowly. Stepped out onto the porch with my glass in hand. Didn't say a word at first. Just let her look. Took her a few seconds to process it. Me. The lights. Rusty's leash tied to the porch post. A Ford F-150 in the driveway with a toolbox in the bed and my name on the insurance. This is illegal, she said, voice shaking. This is my house. You're trespassing. I took a sip of whiskey. Then handed her the deed. Her eyes scanned it. Twice. Then again. Then she dropped it like it burned her. You got Caleb to do this? Are you serious? You manipulated him? You blackmailed him, eh? I held up a hand. Stop. Before you embarrass yourself. She opened her mouth again, but I didn't care what she had to say. Not anymore. I built this house, I said. I rebuilt every inch. I gave up everything for it. And for you. You stole it. Lied about me. Let everyone think I was dangerous. Disposable. She flinched. Good. I kept going. But you didn't just screw me. You desecrated your father's memory. Bill left this place to you because he thought you'd protect it. Not pawn it off to the first grifter with gel in his hair. She started crying. You don't understand, she said. Devin said we were investing. That it was temporary. I didn't know he'd leave. I didn't know. You didn't care, I said. Silence. Then, so what now? You gonna sell it? Flip it? Tear it down? Is this revenge? I shook my head. No. It's closure. Then I walked back inside. She stood on the porch for a while. Maybe 10 minutes. Maybe 20. I don't know. I didn't look again. Eventually, the Civic coughed back to life and disappeared down the road. I stood at the mantel and looked up at the photo of her and Bill I'd framed years ago. It was crooked. I straightened it. And then I started writing. A list. Not a revenge plan. Not a demolition checklist. A renovation schedule. Because I'm not done. This house? It's not just a monument to what she took. It's proof I survived. And now I'm taking it back, one nail, one beam, one honest inch at a time. Not for her. Not even for Bill. For me. Edit 1. No, I'm not pressing charges. That's time and energy I won't waste. She lost more than a house that night. She lost the last person who ever believed in her. Edit 2. Rusty got a new collar. Red leather. Silver tag that says Builder's Best Friend. He earned it. Edit 3. There's a long road ahead, but I'll be documenting the rebuild. Not to show off. Just to remember. Because this time, every board I lay down? Update 4. I hadn't planned on going to the town meeting. I don't do drama. Not anymore. But when I got a letter taped to the farmhouse gate, formal seal, city letterhead, notice of an urgent zoning concern, I knew exactly who was behind it. Mara. 3 weeks since I took legal ownership of the house. 3 weeks of silence from her. Aside from one email titled, "Let's be civil." Deleted without opening. She didn't want civility. She wanted control. But apparently she still had friends in town. Her godmother is head of the beautification board. Her ex-manager from the dental office runs one of the city subcommittees. Enough people who remember her as sweet little Mara from the hill. And me as that rough kid who worked in HVAC and disappeared. And she knew the only way to get the house back was to make me look unfit, unsafe, unstable. She filed noise complaints, claimed I was conducting commercial construction without a license, said the truck in the driveway was attracting undesirable traffic. She even submitted photos of my old trailer and claimed I was squatting off-grid and dumping gray water into the soil. All lies, but lies backed by influence can still drag you down. So I went. I cleaned the mud off my boots, shaved, wore the only button-up shirt I still owned from the wedding guest era. Rusty stayed home, pacing like he could smell the storm coming. Town hall was packed. She'd rallied the old guard. Her mom, her pastor, a few wine club women who'd never spoken to me directly but somehow always knew what I must have been up to. I stood in the back. She didn't notice me at first. Was too busy playing the part, trembling voice, crocodile tears, speaking about her late father's legacy and how certain individuals were disrespecting it by turning his land into a salvage yard. She used every coded term in the book, every dog whistle, words like unregulated, disturbing, threat to community character. I watched her paint me as a squatter, a thug, an invader. Then the mayor's wife stood up. Classy woman, knows everyone in town, always looks like she walked out of a country living magazine. She turned, looked right at me. Would the gentleman in the back please come forward? Whispers. Mara turned, froze. I stepped up, calm. Introduced myself, handed over the deed, copies of the zoning permits I'd already pulled, my approved variance application for minor structural work. Then I said this. My name is Ryan. I lived here for 3 years while renovating the farmhouse on Ridge Hill. Every improvement made, from insulation to plumbing, was done by me, with permits, receipts, and love. The mayor's wife asked a single question. And who helped you learn the codes for all that? Your husband, I said. He signed off on my first permit in 2019. Told me to build something worth remembering. Silence. Then softly, she smiled. She doesn't know you've got history here too, does she? I just nodded. See, what Mara forgot, what she never understood, was that while she was out playing socialite, I was in this town's bones. Fixing the pipes in the bakery, installing ductwork in the school library, crawling through attics and basements and moldy crawl spaces while people like her didn't notice who made their lives run smooth. I didn't need power. I had presence. The council dismissed the complaint in 10 minutes. Unanimously. One board member even asked if I'd be willing to lead a local apprenticeship program next year. As I walked out, Mara trailed behind me. Why are you doing this? She hissed. You already got what you wanted. I turned. No, Mara. You thought this was about payback, about punishing you. But this is about planting something solid where you left wreckage. She scoffed. You'll never be one of them. You think they really see you as anything but. I cut her off. They see me as someone who doesn't need to fake tears to get respect. She stormed off. That was the last time I saw her. It's been 4 months now. The house is solid again. Porch fixed. Kitchen humming. I built a workbench out back where I carve wood on Sundays and listen to records. Rusty's favorite spot is still the south window, where the sun hits hardest. Sometimes, when the breeze is just right, I swear I can still smell sawdust and sweat and old paint in the beams. But it fades. It always fades. And the town? They know me now. Not as that guy who got dumped, or the squatter, or Mara's ex, just Ryan. The guy who rebuilt the farmhouse, who stuck around, who made something last. Edit 1. Yeah, I did take one last walk through the house before I started repairs. Found an old receipt tucked behind the fridge. My handwriting. For a brass door handle she insisted we couldn't afford. I bought it anyway, still using it. Edit 2. To everyone saying I should have burned it down, I already did. Not with fire, with truth. And in the ashes,